Welcome to this explainer. I am so excited to dive into this with you today because we're going to explore one of the most complex, high-stakes environments on the entire planet, your own body. Seriously, think of your body as this massive, highly secured fortress. And right now, literally as you're listening to my voice, that fortress is under constant invisible threat. Microscopic invaders are out there, constantly trying to breach the walls. But hey, you aren't defenseless, not even close. You have this unparalleled 24/7 security apparatus. Today, we're going to map out the sheer architecture of human immunity, and we'll see exactly how your innate and adaptive systems team up to keep you alive and kicking.
I mean, have you ever actually stopped to wonder what happens the exact second a pathogen, like a virus or some rogue bacteria, actually breaks through your physical defenses? It's definitely not just some random scramble inside you. It is a highly orchestrated, full-blown military response. What we're uncovering today is how your body deploys what is basically a two armies defense network to immediately contain the breach and then systematically annihilate the invader.
So, here's our battle plan for today. We'll start with the overall body's defense network, then look at the first responders, move on to the special forces, and finally tie it all together with coordination, communication, and memory.
All right, Section 1, the body's defense network. Two major arms working together.
Okay, so your immune system is basically split into two distinct but highly collaborative branches. First up, we've got the innate immune system. You can think of this as your body's blunt, frontline defense. It springs into action almost instantly, but it's nonspecific. It knows something is wrong, it knows you're under attack, but it doesn't necessarily know exactly what specific strain of invader it's fighting. Then, stepping up next, is the adaptive immune system. Now, this system takes a little bit longer to mobilize at first, but when it finally does, it delivers this highly targeted precision attack that's defined by incredible specificity and memory. It's an absolute game changer.
Moving right along to Section 2, First Responders, Innate Immunity, the rapid, non-specific front line.
So, if the innate system is this rapid, blunt instrument, how does it actually know what to hit? Well, this innate infantry uses molecular scanners. These innate cells carry pattern recognition receptors, or PRRs, with toll-like receptors being a really prime example of this. And these PRRs are constantly, tirelessly scanning for PAMPs, which stands for pathogen-associated molecular patterns. Think of these PAMPs like universal bad guy barcodes. They're conserved across all sorts of different viruses and bacteria, and they basically scream, "Hey, I am an invader, attack me."
All right, so who exactly makes up this rapid response army? First, you've got your neutrophils. These are your most abundant first responders, and they act a lot like microscopic Pac-Men. They literally engulf and eat pathogens through a process we call phagocytosis. Next up are the macrophages. These are the heavy-duty scavengers that digest the debris left behind, and then they release these chemical alarms to trigger inflammation and call in backup. Then we have natural killer cells. You can think of these guys as ruthless internal bouncers checking ID tags at the door. They identify and destroy any virus-infected or tumor cells that are missing their normal self-markers, those MHC molecules. And finally, dendritic cells. These are your vital intelligence messengers. They capture the enemy and act as the crucial bridge to go wake up the adaptive system. Which brings us to Section 3, Special Forces, Adaptive Immunity, Specificity and Immunological Memory. Okay, this is where sheer biological engineering really takes over, and honestly, it's mind-blowing. The adaptive system doesn't just rely on general barcodes like the innate system does. Nope. Through this incredible process called somatic gene rearrangement, your DNA essentially shuffles its own genetic code. It does this to create unique receptors that are capable of recognizing practically any specific antigen that exists in nature. It is literally an infinitely adaptable targeting system built right into your cells. Let's break down the elite units inside these adaptive special forces. First, we've got B lymphocytes, or B cells, which are all about humoral immunity. When these guys are activated, they turn into plasma cells that operate just like microscopic munitions factories, pumping out millions of antibodies that are perfectly specifically shaped to neutralize one exact antigen. Then we have our T lymphocytes, which handle cell-mediated immunity. Inside this group, you've got helper T cells, or CD4+ cells. They act as the generals on the battlefield, coordinating the entire response by releasing cytokines to activate both your B cells and your macrophages. And finally, the cytotoxic T cells, or CD8+ cells. These are your elite assassins. They directly kill infected or cancerous cells by recognizing specific antigens presented right there on the surface of MHC class I molecules. Boom. Threat neutralized.
And that leads us to our final section, Section 4, Coordination, Communication, and Memory,
the Joint Task Force.
You see, these two systems are absolutely not acting in isolation. They're engaged in constant cellular crosstalk, using chemical radio signals called cytokines, things like interleukins and interferons. It's just this beautifully synchronized two-way street. The adaptive system needs the innate system to get started, right? But conversely, the antibodies produced by the adaptive system act like laser target designators. They help the innate phagocytes, like our heavy-duty friends, the macrophages, lock onto enemies and identify their targets way more efficiently. Talk about teamwork.
So, let's watch this play out like a chronological relay race during an actual infection. Step 1. A dendritic cell from the innate system encounters and captures an antigen right at the battle site. Step 2. It processes the invader and displays fragments of it on its major histocompatibility complex, or MHC molecules. It's literally holding up a piece of the enemy for inspection. Step 3. It travels all the way to the lymph nodes, hands this critical piece of intel to a T cell from the adaptive system, and officially launches the highly targeted, heavy-duty immune response.
And once that battle is finally won, we reach the ultimate victory of the immune system, immunological memory. Because after the pathogen is defeated, the adaptive system doesn't just completely power down. No way. It leaves behind specialized memory cells. This right here is the entire foundation of why we recover and gain immunity to things. If your body ever encounters that exact identical pathogen again, even months or years later, these memory cells allow your body to respond so rapidly and so effectively that you probably won't even know you were exposed. The invader is completely neutralized before it can even cause disease.
Which leaves us with this final crazy thought. Right now, at this exact second, you have millions of specialized memory cells silently patrolling your bloodstream and tissues. They hold the genetic blueprints of every cold, every flu, every single pathogen you have ever defeated in your life. They are literally a living record of your survival. So, considering this incredible, coordinated architecture of your innate and adaptive defenses, what microscopic invader is your immune system silently waiting for next? Thank you so much for exploring the magnificent architecture of human immunity with me today. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.